Right now, the day's biggest news stories. From a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro, and I will say at a time where a lot of people are scared, a lot of people don't know what to do, a lot of people want to hear their voices heard, and we want that. We are going to be broadcasting live. We are going to be here. We're going to be here tomorrow. We're going to be here Friday. Business as usual, and we might actually be, in my kitchen broadcasting, but luckily we will be able to be broadcasting live. And joining us right now, we're always very lucky and thankful to have her on the show. That is Congresswoman for Nevada, Dina Titus. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us at such a very difficult time. How are you?
Well, I'm okay. Thank you for trying to help us put out the word of what people should be doing during this time.
Absolutely. Let me start by asking you the first basic question. How's your health, the health of your family, your friends? Is everybody doing okay?
Well, thank you for asking that. My mother turned 90 in February.
Oh, wow.
And I'm certainly concerned about her, but she's kind of hunkered down. We're following the directions of the public health officers, washing our hands, keeping social distancing. Both of my offices in Washington and here in City Hall are mostly doing teleworking, but all the phone lines are open. We're answering people's questions. We're trying to deal with agencies, working with both the state and federal government. So if you need anything, you can still call our office to get help.
Good to know.
Trying to follow the instructions that they've been giving everybody.
Sure. Good to know, Congresswoman. So let me ask you this. I mean, just from a human standpoint perspective, even as a politician, just as a human being, these are surreal times we're living in. I mean, I got chills listening to Steve Sisolak speak last night. What were your thoughts on his press conference, and what is going through your mind, just as a human being that lives here? I mean, what went through your mind at that press conference last night when he spoke to the people here?
Well, I have a lot of respect for Steve Sisolak, and I thought that he both reassured the public because he has compassion, but also instructed the public. It was a very difficult decision to close down the schools initially, but he knew that was the right thing to do and set up feeding stations for children who have to get low cost or no cost meals at school because he.
Congresswoman, did we lose you there for a second? Did we lose Congresswoman Dina Titus? I think we might have lost her. Well,
all Nevadans, and you got to respect that.
Congresswoman, I think we lost about the last 20 seconds of your statement there, so I hate to have to ask you to repeat yourself there, but the latter end of what you just said there, if you could repeat that, that'd be great. I think your phone cut out there for a second.
Oh, okay. Am I back on now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Well, I just said that it was a very difficult decision for him to make, first to close down the schools and then to close down so many businesses because the economy of the state is at risk. And he didn't take that lightly, but he is concerned about the health and safety of our residents as well as any people who might have been here as visitors.
No question. So I want to ask you some questions on a national scale. I've been open and honest, and I've been criticizing Donald Trump because I personally believe that over the course of the last few months, not the last few days, but the last few months, I think he and his administration have been downplaying this virus. The test kits were not available. We were not ready as a country. I'm not just talking about the state of Nevada. I mean, you've heard the statements he's made over the course of the last few months saying it was one person from China that came in here. It was a month ago he said you can go to work. People are feeling better when they go to work. Isn't it the responsibility of the president and his administration to be responsible with their words? And what are your thoughts of the way this administration has handled this crisis?
I'm here, but I can't hear you.
Oh, go ahead, Dina. Go ahead, Dina. Can you hear me now?
Okay. I hear you now.
My question was your response, your opinion of the response of the president and his administration when it comes to this crisis.
Well, I agree with you. I think he was irresponsible. He didn't take it seriously enough early on. He said it'd go away quickly, and it was like the flu. Doctors, public health officials warned him that wasn't true, and so now I think his mentality has shifted. But certainly we are behind the curve in terms of getting the supplies that we need and getting information out to the public. But it's not about pointing fingers. Now we got to move on to deal with this. And he's finally signed that disaster declaration that we asked for here in Nevada so our businesses will qualify for those small loans. got the Army Corps of Engineers ready to build emergency hospitals and medical facilities. And he said he's going to sign the bill that's coming out of Congress that sets up more unemployment, sick leave, food banks, food stamps, those kind of things. That should be passed by the Senate today, and he said he'd sign it.
You mentioned the small business loan program for all the businesses, especially Nevada businesses that have definitely had some damages due to this. How would someone who is a small business owner that's listening to our show go about applying for something like that? And what do you think the time frame is to actually receive that relief?
Well, we want it to be sooner rather than later, and that's why we were pushing for that disaster declaration. I had a conference call with the Chamber, with the Latin Chamber, and with the Asian Chamber talking about this in conjunction with a representative from the Small Business Administration. You can go online to their website. You can go online to my website where we've got the information posted, how you get help applying for that right now.
If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Dina Titus, Congresswoman here, of course, representing Nevada. Did you ever think in your lifetime, Congresswoman, that you would see the Las Vegas Strip completely shut down?
No, I just couldn't imagine it. And, you know, we passed two bills in Congress. The first one was aimed more at health care, trying to get enough vaccines, or enough testing, enough money for vaccines. The second one was unemployment and sick leave. And the third bill will be more like long-term economic recovery, and you will see a lot of things put in that bill to help, I don't like the term bailout, but to help businesses across the board. And we want to be sure that travel and tourism, those dollars play a large part in the economy of the country, not just the state, that they're at the table and are able to qualify for some of those benefits, because they might be like tax credits, things like that. We want our workers to be taken care of first, but we do want them to have a job to go back to.
Congresswoman, I want to get your opinion on your thoughts. You know, Mitt Romney and Yang and many of these others, some that are in office, some that maybe are not in office, are talking about this $1,000 per person per month. A lot of people were disappointed with Kamala Harris. A lot of people think Joe Biden will be picking Kamala Harris as his vice president. Kamala Harris came out and she said $500 per month for a family. A lot of people are disappointed with that. They think families need more than that. What are your thoughts on Kamala Harris, Mitt Romney, and those that are talking about this, even the president, talking about this $1,000 a month per person?
Well, I don't know who Joe Biden's going to pick for his vice president, but I've said that I would support the $1,000. It doesn't get at the cause of the problem, but people need some relief, and if that'll help them to pay the rent or help them buy groceries while they're getting on unemployment, or while they're looking for another job, or until we open up all our businesses here, I would support that. We'll see where that goes as part of the third recovery package.
Do you think that the 30-day non-essential, essential business closing, the statement made by Governor Sisolak last night, will last more than 30 days, or do you think that it'll be around the 30-day mark?
Well, I certainly hope it doesn't last longer. They're going to continue to evaluate the situation. The key is to flatten out that curve so we don't spike for a number of cases and number of deaths. If you can flatten it out so that people maybe get contracted gradually and we have enough hospital beds and equipment and all that, that will be a great way to kind of deal with the problem. That's what the healthcare folks say. So I think that's the intent of that 30 days, and we'll just have to see. Maybe it'll go quicker. Maybe it'll take longer. We just don't know.
Congresswoman, this will be my last question for you. You're speaking now to a pretty large audience. We have a lot of listeners here. It's a pretty big station here at KDWN, FM and AM. So you're speaking to the locals here. Yes. I want you to talk to these locals that many of them who have called into our show the first 90 minutes are very scared. A lot of these people are very worried. They're worried for their loved ones, not necessarily for themselves. A lot of people are worried about how they're going to get their next paycheck. So as a congresswoman who represents the state of Nevada, I want you to speak now to those people. Speak to those people who are really worried and concerned. What would you say to them?
Well, I would say that if we come together, if we work together, if we follow good, sound advice, that we will come through this. Las Vegas has proven in the past. Look at the shooting that we had just several years ago. We are a resilient community, and we can make it, but it's going to take all of us working at the state, federal, local level, helping your neighbor, following public health rules, and don't panic. Just be smart, but don't panic, and together we'll get through it.
I really appreciate those words. Congresswoman, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much. Love to have you on again soon down the road, and hopefully we'll be speaking at a better time for the country and certainly for Las Vegas and Nevada. Thank you so much, Congresswoman.
Well, thank you, and let's stay in touch as this evolves.
Love to. Thank you,
Thanks
Congresswoman.
a lot, Congresswoman.
Always appreciate her time. That is Dina Titus, Congresswoman for Nevada. I think that was well spoken, and I think that was well said. JD, notice how I said well spoken and well said. Well, coming up next, you might have heard her. You know, she's an actress. She's done some movies, some shows. Her name is Vanessa Hudgens. Okay, she, like many idiots,
she is the opposite of well spoken.
The opposite of Dina Titus. Not a very intelligent woman. You're not going to believe.
Will not be running for Congress anytime soon.
You're not going to believe what she put up on her Instagram page, and it's causing an outroar. In fact, it was trending on social media. We are going to play that for you coming up next, and the response to that, and we'll take more of your phone calls. That number, 702-257-5396. Take a quick break. Be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
Warning, this product contains...
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. We are live. It is Wednesday. We are broadcasting live from my apartment, actually, believe it or not, and going out of the airwaves on KDWN. We're not going anywhere. We'll be back out live tomorrow and Friday to finish up the week. I will say this, these things happen, I guess, when you're broadcasting live on YouTube and live on the air. JD was walking out of the bathroom. As you know, my co-host, he likes to go number 2 a lot during the show. He did that from my own toilet. And then as he's walking out, we have these YouTube cameras that are set up. His pants are down, and he's zipping up his fly in his pants in the shot. In the shot.
With the Congresswoman on the line.
Yeah, with the Congresswoman
you know what?
on the line.
I'll tell you what, Brian. I have my morning constitutional, and it's not gonna go away. It's not gonna change.
Did you wipe with tissue? I only have tissue in there.
I did actually use Kleenex. Yeah, I use Kleenex.
I'm going to put sandpaper in there for you.
I would really appreciate if you didn't do that. But no, it's not going to change my habits just because I'm in a new venue. We're
All
fine.
right, fine. Well, Stein, you're going to have to change your habits. No pleasuring yourself in my apartment, okay? By the way, the number to call, 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Speaking of dopes, Vanessa Hudgens, if you don't know who she is, she's an actress, not a very good one. To me, she's probably just as smart as Paris Hilton. They're both dopes. She went on her Instagram page. And by the way, she's not the only person that thinks this way. There's a lot of millennials that are thinking the same way Vanessa Hudgens thinks. Listen to the audio and video that she posted on her Instagram page yesterday. It is unbelievably, it's pure stupidity. Have a listen to this.
Yeah, till July sounds like a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry. But, like, it's a virus. I get it. Like, I respect it. But at the same time, like, even if everybody gets it, like, yeah, people are gonna die. It's just terrible. But, like, inevitable? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this right now.
Yeah, people are gonna die, but I guess it's inevitable. You dumb idiot. What a dope. How do you possibly...
Keep in mind, this woman has posed naked multiple times. She does.
What does that have to do with it?
I'm saying she does things.
So because if you pose naked, it gives you the right to talk like that?
She does things like this to grab attention to herself. So
you think that's why she did it?
I'm not. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not surprised that she would say something like that.
But it's disgusting. Can we agree it's disgusting to if that's the case? I don't even know if she's smart enough to do that.
People are going to die, and this kind of goes back to the.
So you're defending what she said?
No, but they are going to die. Are they not going to die?
But she was downplaying the issue, and she was basically saying, "Let me go back to work. People are going to die. It's inevitable." That's what she's saying.
Go into bars, go into clubs, go into nightclubs under these circumstances. Obviously, is unnecessary. But Brian, and we had this conversation before we had Dina Titus on. If I get the virus, and I go through the process, I have 20 days, I have mild symptoms, and I recover from the virus, and I am therefore immune from the virus, which means that I can't.
First of all, that's not true.
Which means that I can't give it to somebody.
First of all, let me be very clear.
How is that not true?
Let me be very clear.
How is that not true?
Let me
if my body,
I can't answer your question if you don't let me answer.
If my body builds antibodies up to the virus to the point where it removes it from my system, I cannot be infected again.
I'm glad you brought that up. Accounting to the specialists, the health experts, unlike us, what they are saying, including those in the Trump administration, is that it is not impossible to get the virus again. What they are saying is that just because you get the virus once does not mean that you're immune to it. That is what the professionals are saying.
So
you can't say that.
So right now, there's been one case in Japan where a woman, I believe she was 41, she had the virus 3 months ago, and she tested positive again a couple weeks ago. That's one out of the 208,000 cases in the world. So is it possible that 0.001% of the population will get the virus again? But it's very, very unlikely.
Well, here's the problem with what you're saying, and I have a big problem with it. There's a lot of people out there that have not been tested before. It is also possible to get the virus, and maybe you don't have a lot of symptoms, and then a month later get the virus again. We don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions. But going back to Vanessa Hudgens, who said, guys, it's inevitable. People are going to die. Why can't I just go to work? Why can't I just act and put on makeup? That's what she said because she's a dope. And now she puts out another video yesterday with a half-hearted apology saying that people just took me out of context. Have a listen to this. This is Vanessa Hudgens and her half-hearted apology.
Hey guys, so yesterday I did an Instagram live and I realized today that some of my comments are being taken out of context. It's a crazy time. It's a crazy time. And I am at home and in lockdown, and that's what I hope you guys are doing too. In full quarantine and staying safe and sane. I don't take the situation lightly by any means. I am home.
Well, based on that, it sounds like her publicist got into her ear.
Guys, I was taken out of context. Guys. Oh, my God. Let me tell you something, man. I'm not a violent person, and I don't condone violence. But when you watch that video, what does that make you think inside your head? I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is just shut up. Just shut up. You're a dope. Do other millennials, and first of all, she sounds like a 12-year-old. Guys, she sounds like Alicia Silverstone in, what was that movie back in the day?
That was called Clueless.
Clueless.
It's in my top 5.
Because she is clueless. She sounds like Alicia Silverstone. Guys, whatever. Oh, my goodness gracious. How can this woman is a complete dope. And the fact that she goes, on her page and says things like that and then has a half-hearted, how do we take you out of context? You just said people are going to die. It's inevitable. And you're making the case that you just want to go back to work, you selfish moron.
If she even has any work to go back to.
Oh, my God. What a dope. What a dope. By the way, you know what was trending on Twitter yesterday? She's 31. Do you know why that was trending? Because she's not 10 years old. She's not 15 years old. She's not 20 years old. Vanessa Hudgens is 31 years old. She's in her 30s. In her 30s, and she says things like that. It'd be one thing if a 12-year-old girl talked like that. I'd say, well, she's young. She doesn't know any better. This woman, and she is a woman, not a teeny bopper, even though she sounds like one, she's 31 years old. She happens to be attractive, and she happens to have a very low IQ. She's a dope. And when people do stupid things like this, and I'll tell you, what she said is very dangerous, and I'll tell you why. And some of you might not know who she is, but there are plenty of young kids out there that look up to her. And when she goes out there and she goes on her Instagram page, which has millions of followers, and she says, guys, people are going to die. It's inevitable. Let's just go back to work. That is dangerous for people because there are a lot of young, dumb millennials that will listen to her like some listen to the president, like some adults do. That is a problem. And these dopes that go on social media, will you stay the hell off of social media and stop putting out misinformation out there? We know that you're selfish, and we know that you're a nitwit. You just have proven that to the world. Stay away. Stay away. You want to do makeup all day and put on makeup and talk about your wonderful Disney career, you go ahead and do that. I don't care. I won't be watching any of those videos. Stop talking about social issues and stop talking about issues that people actually do care about, which is not your career. Stop it.
And actually, Brian, she is going to have, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities, especially if this lasts a long time, for actors and actresses and those who are producing, movies and digital or just content, because people are going to be at home just digesting, whether it's radio, TV, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and any new digital content is going to have so many more viewers than it ever has before. So actors and actresses like her are going to actually have a lot of work. It's just going to be interesting to see if they're actually allowed to to produce content.
I'm going to try to take some more phone calls on the other side of the break. Let's try to squeeze one in right now at 257-5396. Let's go to Jay. Jay, you're up next on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Jay?
Thank you. Good morning, Brian and JD. So Congresswoman Titus just ended by saying, we have to work together, and everybody would agree with that. And here's where I see a major problem for Congress is that Adam Schiff, when he made his closing argument in the impeachment trial for the removal of Trump, in a nutshell, what he said is this president cannot be trusted to do the right thing. And within weeks, we saw how those words came true, that Trump was not doing the right thing. And then, and my point is that, and he did it again today, he started his address by saying the Chinese virus.
Right.
There's no point in calling it the Chinese virus. That's a Trump reaction. If this pandemic in the United States proliferates badly, we're going to need China's medical supplies. That's pretty much concluded by all the authorities. But the problem for Congress is, I think both sides of the aisle agree with Adam Schiff that he cannot be trusted to do the right thing, and yet they have to try to work together with the administration.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Listen, it's a very, very difficult spot that you're putting a lot of people in. I agree with you. Trust me, if you listen to the show, I don't think the president can be trusted. I'll tell you one thing that I'm finally happy about. It took him long enough, but the other day he finally took a more serious tone. They've been downplaying this virus for a very, very long time. And now, finally, somebody got in his ear and said, Mr. President, this is an epidemic. And what does the president say? He says, I knew this was an epidemic before this was an epidemic. Yeah, sure you did. That's why you told people to go to work. That's why you told people to be 15 cases down to 0. And that's why you told people that everything would be perfect and it would be a miracle and this virus would just go away. He said that. He said that a month ago. And now all of a sudden, now when he has to take this seriously, now when the president is forced to take this seriously, that is when the president says, I knew this was a pandemic before it was a pandemic. Listen, we all know that the president's full of crap. We all know that, okay? But, yes, we do have to all work together now. It's not about, you're making it political. I'm glad that the president finally is taking it seriously. It's because he was forced to. But, yes, it's a difficult situation that all Americans are in right now. Whether you support the president or not, we have to trust people. You have to trust people now. You have to trust our doctors. You have to trust our administration. You have to trust our politicians, whether that's Dina Titus, whether that's President Trump. The problem is that President Trump has a track record, and that is where he's downplayed this virus for the last couple months until the last couple days. We're going to take more of your phone calls on the other side of the break. We also have to talk a little bit about Joe Biden. He won 3 states yesterday. We'll get into that and much, much more. If you want to give us a call, 702-257-5396. Again, that number, 702-257-5396. We'll take your calls on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN. All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. We are broadcasting live. This is we want to hear your voices out there. We are going to be live for the remainder of the week, and we're not going anywhere. So we're going to be covering this virus. We're going to be covering the latest breaking news. We're going to have special guests on tomorrow and to give you the latest on everything. And, of course, we want to hear from you at 702-257-5396. And we do have a few phone lines that are open. This is your chance to share your opinions with us. Your thoughts on what is taking place, not just in Las Vegas, not just in the state of Nevada, but across the country. Let's go to Logan. Edward, I apologize. Edward, you are first up on the Vegas Take. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind, Edward? Edward, are you there? Let's go to Logan. Logan, you are next up on the Vegas Take. 702-257-5396. Logan, what's on your mind? Did we lose Logan? Again, that number to call, 257-5396. And if you're calling from far and away lands, that number, 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Stephen. Stephen, you're next up on the Vegas Take. Are you there?
Yes, sir, I am here.
Stephen, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, Stephen?
Oh, not much. I've been listening to your show for like the past hour or so, because I just wanted to talk to you. But basically, what's going on here is the concern over everything in the coronavirus is it's accumulating because everyone's stressed and freaking out. But we have no sense of camaraderie or partnership, humanity. We're all attacking each other because it's survival. So, I mean, I understand you have your views, they have their views, but we're all fighting. There's no cooperation. And, I mean, I have a family. I've got 3 kids. I live with family who has a child. So we have to go get what we can and fight for what we can get.
Well, I agree with you.
Something for someone else.
I understand. Listen, make no mistake about it. I don't care what your political views are. I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, wherever you are. I don't care what you look like. I want everyone to be safe. I want everybody to be healthy. I want everybody to be taken care of. But when you say attack, listen, if somebody says something that is not factually accurate, or if somebody calls in and says that I'm fear-mongering, then I'm going to call them out on it. I think that is very fair to do that. If you notice, I've disagreed with a lot of people that have called in. I haven't called them all names. I haven't attacked every single one of them for doing that. Yes, there are a few people that have called in that have said things about our show, said things about me that are not factually accurate. In fact, there have been a few people that have called in that have tried to make light of this situation. I'm not going to let people get away with that. Listen, we want to hear your voices. We want to hear all of you out there, but we also want to have serious discussion, and we want to know your thoughts and your opinions. Doesn't mean we have to agree on everything, but we want to be responsible with the things we say. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Michelle. Michelle, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, guys, I just want to say that I appreciate your show. I appreciate that you're live and on the air, and you're letting us call in. You opened up your home, which is an incredible thing for you to do. I love your robe, Brian.
Thank you. I
You're a
appreciate that.
handsome man.
I appreciate that. I'm wearing my
robe.
robe just for you.
I was hoping it would fall open just a little bit more.
Yeah, trust me, nobody here in my apartment wants that to happen, Michelle.
Yeah, I did not expect that to come out of your mouth, Michelle.
Michelle,
Very surprising.
I appreciate that. Listen, we are here for people like you, the locals that live here in Las Vegas. We want to hear from you. So, Michelle, what do you make about what's taking place?
Well, my personal experience is I came down with the Wu flu. It's day 12. I believe I got it at Whole Foods from the open buffet area. I used their utensils that are kind of open to germs there. That's the only thing that went into my mouth that was not from my own home. And I just kind of connected the dots, and I said, I think that's where I got it. The first 5 days were very painful with the illness. The second 5 days, I started to feel better, but I was still weak. And now a couple of more days, I'm finally feeling strong, but the little nagging cough is still kind of lingering.
You weren't?
there.
Did you go into the hospital?
No, I did not, because
So it is not out of the realm. Sorry to interrupt you, but it is not out of the realm of possibility, Michelle, to say that maybe you could have had the coronavirus and you could still have it. That's
Correct.
fair to say, right?
100% accurate. I believe, I know for sure I had the flu. Which strain? Was it the coronavirus? I kind of believe I did because there was some crackling.
Well, Michelle, listen, this is important, Michelle, and I appreciate you sharing that story with us, and I appreciate your kind words. Take care of yourself, quarantine yourself. Don't get anyone else infected. I'm sure I'm not the first person to tell you this. You sound like a smart lady. Be responsible. Take care of yourself. And we're glad you are feeling better. Stay away from those food buffets. 702-257-5396.
Good call, Michelle.
257-5396. Let's go to Brian. Brian, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Brian?
What's up, man? Hey, I just want to know if you guys remember back in February, a Harvard professor, a captain in the Chinese army, and a guy at the airport were all arrested. The professor was arrested for espionage. The captain in the military was posing as she was here on a work visa, doing research at Boston College on biological material. And then the guy arrested at the airport was arrested for trying to smuggle vials out of the country, and all this stuff was going to Wuhan. And I was wondering, have you guys heard about that? Or
I'll be honest with you, I have not. I'm not going to lie to you, but at the same time,
I haven't heard about it either.
At the same time, listen, there's a lot of people with certain theories. My question to you would be, what source are you getting that information from?
These were arrest warrants, and it was the it was the United States Judicial Department. I'll share it on your Facebook page.
All right. Well, listen. We appreciate you. We appreciate that.
Very good call.
We appreciate that. The problem is, we don't know whether that's verified or not. There's a lot of conspiracy theories going around, and I
will tell you this: there is an article written by a guy named Declan Butler in November 12th of 2015 that specifically states how there was a concern about risky research done on bats by the Chinese government. And you can go to Google, you can type in Declan Butler bats, and the first thing that pops up will be that article. And if you read that article and you look at how the Chinese government basically told American journalists from respected outlets to basically leave the country, it would not be, and just considering what's going on with everything, it would not be totally impossible to believe that there could be a possible man-made biological warfare element to what's going on.
But I am not going to entertain that without any real evidence to back it up, especially by our CAA and by our listen. If something like that did happen, I trust that our government's going to find that out. And then those people who did this are going to have to pay for it. And I posted something on my Twitter page yesterday. I said, do you think there's a chance that this could be China's gift to America after maybe Donald Trump's tariffs? Or maybe getting back in America. I think it's a fair question to ask, but I'm not going to go into specifics and say, well, this probably happened or that probably. We just don't know. Let's get back to our phone calls. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Johnny. Johnny, you're next up. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Johnny?
Did we lose Johnny?
Hello, Johnny.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry. I apologize. I believe Brian's next, correct? Go ahead, Brian. Okay, Brian, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Is this Johnny? I don't know who we have next on the line. Okay, Steven. Steven's next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on, Steven?
Hey, what's up, Steven?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Couple of quick comments.
Well.
A friend of mine who does medical research said what can be dangerous about this is the way it mutates. It tends to be more resilient.
Right.
And he said to keep yourself healthy, eat good, and keep your distance, but also take some zinc because it has something to do with the lymphocytes in your body, and it helps the T cells to increase the amount of T cells. So, obviously being healthy and trying to keep yourself isolated will help. Can I make one last comment, guys? Real quick?
Of course. Of course, yep.
Purell hand sanitizer, to my best of my knowledge and belief, is the most popular. Look at the ingredients in the microscopic print on the side. Guess what the main ingredient is? Water. What's a great place for bacteria to grow? Water. A tiny bit of alcohol, water, and fragrance. It isn't worth 2 cents. Make your own. Take a cup of alcohol and a teaspoon of liquid hand soap and mix it. If you can't find alcohol, use white vinegar. Worst comes to worst, take a cup of water and put a little bleach in it. But it's better than the junk they're selling to the public.
So,
and that's actually decent information. That there's a reason why rubbing alcohol is going for $35 a bottle at a lot of stations and on the internet. But yeah, you should be using hand sanitizer that is at least 60% alcohol based.
So let me ask you a question. Why do you think there's so many people out there that are going crazy and buying all this hand sanitizer and spending $200-$300 at a time with the toilet paper? What would you say to them?
They don't do their research and just uninformed. Just like a lot of people buy a lot of things and it's misrepresented, it's not a good product. But if you look at the ingredients the way I did, remember, Brian, you're a cerebral person. You guys both are. It's listed by the amount of ingredients by weight. The first ingredient on Purell hand sanitizer is water, which is also a wonderful place for bacteria to breed. And I'm assuming if you look at the weight of the contents, that the alcohol that's put in is a very small amount, and they're doing obvious reason to rip you off.
Sure, no question. Well, listen, I'm glad you shared that with our listeners. Thank you so much, and I hope some people will take your advice. We do appreciate the phone call.
Thanks for the call, Steve.
Yep, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Brian. Brian, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Brian?
Hello?
Yes, Brian, you're on with us. Go ahead.
Hey, I was calling in regards to what a previous caller had mentioned, the professor that was arrested. If you go to the DOJ's website, doj.gov, and search Harvard professor, it'll pull up the professor that was arrested along with 2 students that were actually Chinese military.
So why are we not hearing this on any of the news outlets like Fox News or CNN?
I don't know, but go to the doj.gov website. He was being paid $50,000 a month by the Chinese government.
Sounds like Hunter Biden. No, I think it would probably incite panic if that type of conversation was reported, consistently by both, CNN and Fox News.
Well, Brian, I appreciate the phone call. Listen,
good call, Brian.
It's hard to verify that type of information. I'm not going to.
Telling you to go to their website. You can
Well, we'll do that. We will we will certainly check it out, and I would like to know who exactly reported that and why the media is not reporting on it. But I will say this. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, and I don't know if this is true or not, but is it possible that the government, the president, is it possible, the CIA, that they know a lot more about this virus than we do? I would say yes, that's certainly a possibility.
It's not possible, Brian. It is an absolute stone-cold fact.
Well, I don't know if that's true or not. It's possible.
If you don't think that the president and the CIA and the powers that be in our government have more information about this virus than the average person.
Well, it's possible. I don't know the answer
I would
to that.
be very surprised if you
I'm opening up to a possibility. I don't know if it's 100% proven fact, and I'm not going to say that until we have some more proof. But let's get back to the phone calls at 257-5396. Let's go to Bob. Bob, you're next up on the Vegas Take. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Bob?
Okay. I blame a lot of it on impeachment and the Democrats in December. This thing erupted in December, and all the Democrats could see their blinders on. Impeachment.
You're saying the Democrats created the coronavirus?
No, I didn't say that. They could have slowed it down. They didn't. They were more interested.
Okay, so who's in charge, and who is the president of the United States? Is he a Democrat?
No, he's a Republican. But
who's in charge? Who's in charge right now? Democrats or Republicans? Hold on a second. You just blame the Democrats. I'm asking you.
I think what he's doing is he's basically saying that
they could have slowed it down.
How?
All Adam Schiff had on was blinders.
So you're blaming Adam Schiff, and you're saying Schiff. Hold on. You're saying Schiff could have slowed it down.
Yes,
do you think the president? Do you think
China? All he was interested in impeachment.
Fair enough. Do you think that?
Or it's possible that the specific Democrats conspired with China.
So do you think the president could have slowed it down? Since you're about to blame Democrats, do you so you give no responsibility to Trump and all
they're interested was impeachment.
So hold on a second. You're not answering my question. Bob, you're not answering my question. I get it. You want to blame Democrats and Adam Schiff. Who do you think is more responsible for getting things done in this country right now in this type of situation? Adam Schiff or Donald Trump? It's a simple question.
Donald Trump, but he didn't
Thank
Adam
you.
Schiff block him everything he does.
Really, what has Adam Schiff blocked that Trump has tried to do in the last 2 months? Please explain.
Back in December, all he cared about is they had blinders on. All they cared about.
I didn't ask you about blinders. What specific things did Adam Schiff block from Donald Trump, since that's what you just said? Please explain.
I'm going
Exactly. You laugh and you can't answer the question. Have a nice day. 702-257-5. No, have a nice day. I gave you an opportunity. Don't you make claims about Adam Schiff and the Democrats if you can't back it up with facts. That was a ludicrous phone call. 702-257-5396. John is next. John, you're up next on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, John?
Hey, how are you?
Good. What's going on, John?
So I want to get your thoughts on what the Governor Sisolak's statutory authority is to actually close private businesses. He's got a lot of control over gaming, but if I were, say, a standalone bicycle shop or sole proprietor barber shop, right, listening to his language, he said should, and I agree. I agree with the message.
Sure.
But it seems to get reported as enforceable, and I don't think it is.
Yeah, you know what? That's a really good point you brought up, and I talked about this yesterday, and we talked about it in hour number one. I don't personally think it's against the law for a bicycle shop to stay open. I don't know if they can cite you. I don't know if they can arrest you. My guess would probably be no, right?
I think that they can fine you. I don't think that you're going to see the National Guard.
But if you're a bike shop
and shutting and actually closing the doors with chains of these businesses, but I think that there will be kind of like a whistleblower group that will report these businesses, and I've seen some of them kind of growing already. And when those businesses are reported, they will probably be not only shamed publicly, but also fined, is my guess on how that would work.
It's a very legitimate question, and I appreciate that question, and I talked about it yesterday. Is this martial law? What are we looking at here? And that's the one thing about Sisolak yesterday I didn't like. I'm going to try to squeeze in one more quick caller. I got 30 seconds for Gary. Gary, you got about 30 seconds, my man. I got to take a break. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Gary?
Hey, not much, guys.
Yep, go ahead, Gary. You got 30 seconds. Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I want to comment about the governor when he shut down all these businesses. and 10 people or more. What about these construction sites like?
I agree, Gary.
And Resort World.
Very, very good point.
We actually had a caller call in and talk about that.
Very, very good point, Gary. We had somebody called in, and he actually is a construction worker, and he just asked the same question that you asked. My answer is I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Well, and I think he asked that question because social distancing, I'm sure he's not more than 6 feet away from the people that he's around, and he's like, well, how is that not applying to me? How are we not going all in? And we're just kind of picking and choosing, and when it's all about money.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is our hate mail segment of the day. Take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN. All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Want to remind you guys we are also broadcasting live on YouTube. Don't only watch us on the Vegas Take page, but also subscribe. We are broadcasting live from my apartment. The reason for that is because Beasley broadcast in the KDWN studios. I'm not going to use the term kick this out. They had to do what they had to do, and that is, they're on lockdown like many businesses will be on lockdown within the next 10 minutes.
It's very simple. We are not full-time employees, and so it's a company policy.
But anyway, regardless of that, we are still going to be broadcasting live. We're going to be doing that Thursday and Friday, and we are not going to just take a seat back and not do this because this is about you guys. We want to hear from you, and it's a reason why for the last 2.5 hours or so we've been hearing from you. We've been taking your calls. We want to hear your concerns. We want to hear your questions. And mark my words, we are going to give you the latest breaking information that we can while we are live on the air. That is what we are doing. It's going to be opinionated radio. We're not going to change our show, but we are going to try to deliver to you the best information that we can. Listen, there's other shows in Las Vegas you could listen to. We appreciate you listening to ours, but there are also a lot of other shows that are going to be doing 2 hours of talking about the Tom Brady trade today. That's not what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about the latest breaking news, this coronavirus, and what people are having to deal with on a regular hourly basis.
Right. We're going to educate the listeners on so many different aspects of life that are being affected by what's going on. And we're going to have specialists on the show to do that. And then look at we have a show like Rush Limbaugh from 9 to noon, the exact same time slot, but that's a national show. He is not focusing on what's going on in Las Vegas. We are.
And we're also not going to blame Obama for 3 hours a day like he does either for this virus. But anyway, it is time for our hate mail segment of the day. Today is no different, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure there's a lot of great hate mail out there as I'm sitting in my kitchen broadcasting with all of you. I'm sitting here in my robe, so I'm sure there's plenty of hate mail to go around. Jason Stein is our producer. He is sitting in my kitchen as well. Stein, take her away.
Hey, Brian. The hate mail, coronavirus edition. And thank you everybody for watching on our YouTube and listening on KDAWN. And it's been a tough show, but we're doing our best for you. Here we go. YouTube viewer writes, "What the fudge is going on here? Looking at Brian's pasty white chest makes me want to hurl."
Maybe he just has the coronavirus.
Could be a woman.
He or she.
Yeah. From what I understand, Brian, vomiting is not a consistent symptom of the coronavirus.
All right. Well, thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Dr. Sharp. Thank you.
I like that.
Next comment. Brian's skin is so white, it's almost see-through.
Why would you want to see through my skin?
Well, I don't think they want to see through it.
Gross.
It is nearly translucent. I'll agree with that.
Well, I'm sorry that you're jealous that your girlfriend stares at sees through my skin every day. You know what? You can see through me, unlike you. I can't see through you because you're probably a phony.
So if you wanted to go tanning, you couldn't do that right now, right?
Of course I could. Well,
you could.
It's not an essential business.
Exactly. You can't go tanning.
Says who?
You know what's funny? I'm not even going to say who it was.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But
tanning is an essential business for about 35% of the population.
JD, yesterday we were at a celebrity's house yesterday. I'm not going to say who it was. It's like a $10 million house we were in. And this celebrity has a very hot girlfriend. So she walks into the room, and this was when Sisolak broke all the news, and she says, "I got to go get my nails done. I'm not going to be able to get my nails done for 30 days. And you know what the celebrity husband said? He says to her, "That's what you care about, not food and water. You care about your damn nails." It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It was hilarious. Anyway, go ahead with the hate mail, Stein.
Next comment. Brian has the virus. Hashtag get Brian off the air.
Yeah, well, hashtag I have the logic. Hashtag.
You know what? I can appreciate that consistency.
Go ahead, Stein.
Even in these trying times, people don't want you on air, Brian. Next comment. Brian looks like he is disintegrating right before our eyes. I am here loving every minute of it. And then they did an emoji of a popcorn. like they're in the movies.
Hey, as long as it gets them to watch and listen, that's all I care about, my friends. Go ahead, Stein.
Once again, next comment. Brian is once again fear-mongering.
And it's funny, they say that, but they can't name one specific thing that I've said the entire show that would be labeled as fear-mongering. I've said, listen to your politicians. I've said, take care of yourself. Explain to me how that's fear-mongering. I've said there's a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to this virus. Take care of yourself. The governor did the right thing last night. How is that fear-mongering? If I said all of you are going to die tomorrow or half the country's going to die, that would be fear-mongering. I haven't said one thing. Notice when people say things like that, and then I put them in a corner and I say, name one thing I've said that's fear-mongering. They say, oh, no, I'm not saying you fear-mongering. It's the Democrats. Just give me a break with this fear-mongering nonsense.
Even the coronavirus will not keep some people away from bashing Michael Avenatti, former guest on our show. Someone who actually calls himself Michael Avenatti writes, I thought I might call in today. What's the number?
You know what? We'd love to have him call in. By the way, speaking of jail cells, I wonder how this virus is affecting the jail cell system. What if somebody in there has symptoms? I wonder if they're testing them. Think about it. Unless you're in isolation.
Next comment from Michael, different Michael. I'm stuck at home for the next 30 days. Is this what I have to look forward to? Meaning watching you in your robe do the show.
Apparently. Yeah, apparently. I don't know how to help him there.
Someone who calls himself Tucker Carlson, although I doubt it's the real Tucker. This is one of the most pathetic things I've ever witnessed right here. We can hear you over the commercial break, you idiots.
Okay, well, that's not our fault.
That's not our fault.
That's not our fault.
That's Sean's fault.
That's not our fault. That's whoever is in charge of the board that is saying that you can hear us during the commercial break. So
I've been saying a lot of bad things during the commercial breaks.
You have. I wonder what we were saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Stein.
Susan writes, I can hear you over the commercial breaks, you dum-dums.
Okay, well, we certainly weren't talking about you because you're not important enough. Go ahead, Stein.
Next comment. We should all enjoy this hack radio program before it's gone. So ridiculous. LOL.
I don't listen to hack radio programs, but apparently you do. I don't like the Kardashians. You don't hear me commenting on their Kardashian fan page and watching the Kardashian show every night. Get a life.
Next comment. Brian is so creepy. Just imagine waking up to that face every morning. Oh, Lord.
Well, you wake up to it every day because you watch our YouTube page every day. So you're doing exactly what you're telling everyone else not to do.
Brian, do you think you're being funny with that whiny voice? But basically, it's just your regular voice amplified. That's when you were making fun of actress Vanessa Hudgens?
Yeah, exactly. They obviously have no idea what they're talking about. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Christine writes, this program is really amateurist. And nobody wants to see Brian's sunken chest.
That's what they say about her when she does her voyeur amateurist stuff. Nobody wants to see her chest either. All right, so listen.
Sunken chest.
And finally, is there any chance Brian can keep his finger out of his nose for just a few minutes?
Well, I would say, is there a chance you could take your finger out of your? Oh, forget it. I'll end that sentence there. All right. Well, listen, folks. We are going to be live on the air tomorrow, folks. Same time, same place. Tune us in tomorrow. We're going to be on YouTube. Check us out on Twitter at The Vegas Take. We are going to be broadcasting live, and this is more about you than it is about us. We'll have special guests, and we'll take more of your phone calls tomorrow, folks. Thanks for joining us. Sean Hannity is coming up next.